Alright guys, how you doing? Levi Johnson here. Oh, now you get to listen to the sound of our inverter powering our microwave. My wife is making fish sticks tonight, so I'm excited to have my little kid meal. I want to straighten my hair, but then the camera's backwards, so it's kind of confusing. Anyways, nice to see you guys again. Haven't made a video in a long time, but I would like to make more, at least talking head videos. I thought I'd give you guys a nice background to look at. I mean, our motorhome is not bad to look at. My wife says hi.
Hi.
Yeah, she doesn't like me in front of the camera, so go away. Yeah, so what is going on with me and with the Johnsons? If you didn't know, a year ago we bought 1.13 acres in Kingman, Arizona. We're not like the city proper, but like next to it. So if you look on a map, our property is north. If you look on a map of Kingman, there's going to be old Kingman kind of and new Kingman, and then you're going to see like Route 66 shooting like northeast. If you look it up on Google Maps, and so basically there's like Kingman, and then the airport and industrial area, and then we own 1.13 acres just north of there, not very far as the crow flies. It's a very circuitous route to get here, but somehow the UPS driver makes it, and so actually we've had a couple 5 kilowatt hour batteries delivered here, and then just today it looks like a present from my sister for my wife, whose birthday is in a couple days on June 7th. So yeah, so we got this property, and basically it was just like the sunshine is really good here. So there's a mountain range basically like more or less to the south of us, maybe to the southeast, but there's a mountain range to the south of us, and we're kind of surrounded by mountains, but we're in a valley, kind of in between like these mountains, but there's like maybe a 7,000 foot mountain range. Like we're at 3,000 feet here in Kingman, and so I don't know what the mountain range is to the south exactly, but I'm just going to say 7,000 feet would be my guess. So it like kind of creates its own weather, and so for whatever, so the mountain range to the south creates its own weather, kind of creates or attracts clouds, and then there's this like low mountain range that's to the east of us, and there's another one to the west. So we're just surrounded with like epic views. But anyways, when the clouds hit those mountains, this mountain range to the east and the mountain range to the south, basically like the amount of vegetation shoots up like quite a bit. It's still basically like high desert, but it has a lot of like, I think, digger pines. Like it's kind of a shrubby tree, and it doesn't look like a Christmas tree. It's more like a big bush. So yeah, but on our side, like where we're at, there's no, or if any, like digger pines or trees. I mean, there are trees in like the city proper, and if people like purposely have them there, but on our property, we have like a couple of cactus trees, like legit. Don't fall into these trees, it will be painful. But anyways, so that means that like part of the reason we bought this property is because it's strong solar, and so we get maybe not as much sun as I thought. It's actually been like kind of cloudy and stormy lately, and I have a story for you. So get prepared because it's a wild one. Um, so yeah, so we got this land, like it was like really cheap, $5,000. I think they were asking like maybe 70, was it 75? I think they were asking like 7,500, and I was gonna offer, I don't know, maybe 6 or 6,500, and my wife saw 5,000, and so I was like, well, okay, I guess I'll offer 5,000, and I did, and the guy, we were with the realtor, or the real estate agent, when she called the client, and he like took it like right away. I'm like, oh well, maybe I should have offered less, but still 5,000 was I don't know, in my opinion, a pretty good deal. Um, it's a really interesting area. Like I said, we're north of an airport in an industrial area, so we drive through this industrial area every time we come home to our land, and so it's just kind of interesting. It's nice because nobody cares what we do out here. Uh, so it's our, I mean, it's not super messy, but we have like 20, I don't know, maybe 27 solar panels out on cinder blocks. I think completely now, actually. Cinder blocks or blocks, and just cables on the ground, and it's just really nice. We have our motorhome out here, so it's nice. We just, except for getting broken into once, which actually happened earlier. Was it earlier this year?
Yeah.
Our motorhome. This is the craziest story. So we'd been up to Northern California, Redding, for the Christmas season, Christmas and New Year's, and then we hung out there for a bit, for like a week or two into January, and then we're like, okay, we got to go, and so we came home, and we basically, one of us goes to open I think it was actually me, goes to open, like unlock and open the front door, and there's two locks on our front door, and the other one was locked. The one that has to be locked from the inside, it can't be locked from the outside like the one that we use. And I'm going, what the heck? And so we finally find our way into the motorhome, and someone had climbed in through our window, the window to my left. I'm not sure if that actually shows up correctly. But anyways, one or more people had crawled into our window, busted our frame. Like, God bless them, I forgive them, but it was just a really trippy experience. They crawled into our window, and so crawled in, and then one or more people, I think it was a couple people, but so this lady left a note saying, at such and such date, I'm going to tow your motorhome for sure. She said it like a couple times in the note. She seemed like kind of upset because she thought that this was her land. For whatever reason, I'm not sure why. Like, we ended up looking up on the county website because like we knew that this was our parcel, like specifically. Part of the reason was like because I think it was in the ad for the land. It was on Zillow. It was actually mismarked, and so we actually found the correct parcel, and with the APN number, which is like a parcel address for the county. So we knew that this was like our land, and so it was just it was just such a strange occurrence. It had called out the sheriff or like a deputy or a sheriff or something, and he took a report, and I don't think that the district attorney or whoever was, because I said like press charges, because I want to make sure this person knows this isn't their property. They don't get to tow our home. Um, and yeah, so like no thanks. Um, but like God bless her, I forgive her, but like it was just like a trippy experience. But other than that, like we're mostly like left alone out here. Our neighbors are blocks away. Um, like basically as close as our neighbors get is like it was actually only the last like few days where or like a day or two ago where one of our neighbors was riding around on his quad and being a little sketch, but we were just like, okay, whatever. But generally, we're just left alone. And it's so nice and peaceful out here. So we are um, several blocks from Route 66 as the crow flies. It's not that far away, and there's railroad tracks. So we do get the railroad, but it actually doesn't really bother us. I don't think. It gets kind of loud in here weirdly, but outside it's kind of not. It's kind of cool, and it's fun because like often if we want to, we can go outside and see the train from end to end. We can literally like it would happen constantly if we wanted to go out and just like look. But anyways, yeah, it's legit desert. And it does rain here. Oh, okay, so like, yeah, so we got this land, and so we're, like, basically the story is that we're getting used to this. Like, I grew up in Northern California, where it rains in the winter, like, quite a bit, and my wife grew up in Sweden, which is, like, lots of snow, and hydropower, and rivers all over the place, and the ocean, because she grew up on the east coast of Sweden. And excuse me, and so we're kind of used to like trees and water and life, and out here I don't want to say death, but it's not far from that. It's very desert, but it's higher desert where, like I said, we're at about 3,000 feet. And so we've been getting to know this land because we've only owned it for like a year ago, April, since then. And then, but we didn't move onto the land right away. We were like still kind of traveling around, and we weren't really staying on the land. And then we bought a 1999 Pacero. Is that correct? A 1999 Pacero. Fleetwood Pacero? Yeah, 1999 Fleetwood Pacero, and it has a slide and like a decent amount of room, and we really like it. It's like over 30, I think it's 38 and a half feet or something akin to that. It's pretty close. It's a long one, but it's not over 40 feet, and because like 40 feet gets kind of unwieldy, apparently. But I find it relatively easy to drive this. Maybe some people wouldn't, but I used to drive semi-truck, so this is like actually shorter than that. But anyway, so we've been getting to know the land, or the season. Well, the land, sure, but the seasons, and so there's a wash, what they call a wash, which I hadn't really heard of that until I moved to Arizona. Because they don't really have those in California. It's just a creek that runs year-round, or maybe a seasonal creek. But here they have washes, and because, at least in our area, the land is so flat that they're relatively flat, and then the water just kind of goes wherever. It doesn't really have like, there's not like a river that like, because when there's mountains, like the water just tends to flow like to the bottom of all the mountains, and that's where a river forms. And so not really like that here because it's just so much flat open land. So anyways, a couple of days ago, we were hanging out in the motorhome, and I pull out my cell phone, and there's a weather warning alert and they're making it sound like everybody's gonna die if they leave their house, about flash flood, um, uh, or flash flooding. And so I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm looking outside, and there's like not a whole lot going on. And so I'm like, okay, this is like overblown, whatever. And but I had been like kind of lazy that day, and I'm like, well, I want to do something productive. And like we just ordered an AC unit, and I want to do, and I still want to. I just haven't gotten to it. But and you're about to find out why. In part, at least. I wanted to build like a rectangular frame that could like stand up and like with a board on top and on bottom, and that could hold the AC unit up in our window. My window right here. Maybe where I put it, we'll see. But anyways, so I wanted to go into town to get some nails or like something to secure the boards with, and but by the time I wanted to go, it had actually like started, like it legit rained, like it hailed, but the storm had kind of like passed us, and so I'm like, I mean, I guess I thought it was going to be like okay. So we hop in the car, we start driving into town, but it's a circuitous route, and we need to drive through like we have a wash that's actually on our property, and then there's like kind of multiple washes where like the water like gathers and it flows, and like if it rains really hard like it did that day, it legit rained. So we get to, so we're driving, and it's just streams of water across like on all the roads like that we're driving on, and then there's like we have roads that are near us that are like kind of narrow, but then we get to like a big main road where that's like much wider. So we get on that, and water's like flowing across it, and it's just like a lot of water. It's like, okay, this is a legit storm. And so then we turn on that main road and start heading west, and we get to a point where literally the road is a river. Like it's, I mean, I'm only partially exaggerating. Literally, like there's whole sections of road where it's just literally like covered with flowing water, and it's a little sketchy with our van. You know, we have a 2006 Toyota Sienna, and so, but I'm kind of adventurous, and so I'm just kind of pushing through like these streams and puddles of water and whatnot, and but then like as we continue going west, like it gets a little steeper, not a ton, but a little steeper, and anyways, there's basically a small river flowing down the right side of this road. It's pretty intense. Like it would not be a good idea for us to drive in that, but thankfully like it's sort of in a ditch side of the road, and we're up where it's like just not nearly as deep. It's just maybe inches. So we need to drive west and drive towards 66, and then there's a place where we need to turn maybe 90 degrees again and kind of follow 66, or the railroad tracks is actually what it's next to, and then 66 is on the other side of that. Well, we get down to this corner area, and I'm not expecting this at all. It is a lake. It is a large pond has arisen where like this river that's flowing down the road, and there's like another river flowing down another road, and then like maybe like one more flowing off some land. Anyways, it's just a pond at this corner that I wasn't expecting, and I was in like a relatively adventurous mood. I didn't want to be stupid because like you know, we have limited funds and we can't throw cars in floods all day, but I'm sitting there and like we really want to go to town, and I'm like, man, I don't know if this is worth it. but finally I just kind of gun it into there, and I'm hoping to just kind of get through there like really quick, because like we're not sure how deep it is, and it looks intimidating, but I'm like, well, if it's like a foot, we're like kind of okay, you know, something maybe like that, but I'm not sure. We drive into it, it's over a foot deep, maybe 2 feet deep, and like anyways, like very quickly I regretted my choice. It is muddy water everywhere. I'm surprised it didn't start flowing into our van.
It did spray on top of the car too.
Yes. Yeah. It got, like if I showed you our van, it is caked with dirt and mud. But anyways, so dirty water flies onto our van, and then I freak out and I try to reverse out of it, and so I'm trying to reverse out of it. It's throwing dirty water everywhere. I can barely see. I'm just trying to get out of it. I don't want our vehicle to be flooded. I don't want it to like mess with our engine or anything like that. And because it's just way too deep. And it like I said, because I had been like kind of like crashing through like substantial water earlier, but not nearly that deep. And this is way too much. Like I'd need a truck that's lifted and be like multiple feet in the air, and still I'd be like, is this okay? So anyway, so like I'm like being like pretty aggressive on the reverse, and we do get out of there. I mean, we're throwing like dirt and water all over the place, and it's on our windshield. It's just like the windshield wipers like trying to clean it off, and it's like it's scratching across the windshield. And so we finally get out of there, and but I had been like pretty severe, and like probably too severe in how I was using it, and our transmission fluid was a bit low, and so like the combination of the two was like not good. So we wound up like finding another like circuitous route out of our little flooded area, and but I noticed that the vehicle, that our van is like driving kind of funny, and I'm like, oh no, I hope I didn't damage our transmission. But anyways, we like drive into town. It's basically fine. It was acting like kind of odd, like I'd let off the pedal and it would slow down a lot, whereas before it would just coast. And so I'm going, okay, like something's off, but I'm not sure what, and I'm just kind of hoping maybe it'll be okay. But anyways, so like we'd gone into town, and did we come back that night? Yeah, we came back that night. And then like the next day,
and there was like no water left on the road.
Right, when we came back. Like it emptied off. But so anyway, so we go out again the next night. We go to Panda Express and we have some dinner, and the van seemed to be fine, driving fine. Maybe a little funny, but we got into town fine. And then after dinner, we leave, and we're driving up like one of the main streets in Kingman, Stockton Hill Road, and all of a sudden, like the van like starts like it kind of downshifts like multiple times, and I put more gas to it, and like maybe we kind of speed up, but then we like slow way down again, and like this, and I'm not letting my foot off the gas. That's not why it's slowing down. It's just forcefully, and I'm going, this is not good. And then eventually it just won't really go forward anymore. So like I pull off into a parking lot, and like this is not good, and I go to put it in reverse. I put it in reverse to back into a spot, and when I press the accelerator in reverse, the van goes forward. And I'm like, this is bad. This is not good. This is very, very not good. And so anyways, so last night, I'm like, we, like it was late, and there was like no like auto parts stores open. Like we did find some automatic transmission fluid. I thought, well, let's put some automatic transmission fluid in it. And the only fluid that we could find was at Circle K, and it didn't really seem like the right like type of automatic transmission fluid. And so we end up just like spending the night in our van, but we didn't, like my van is built out with a bed and back, and like if we're going on a trip or we're going somewhere we're prepared, we have our bedding in back, we can sleep like relatively comfortably. But excuse me. But we weren't expecting to sleep out somewhere. We were just going to go out, have some dinner, I guess, and go home. And so we had no bedding with us. Like there was a bed pad, but we didn't have pillows or anything like that. So we slept on our seats next to a Chili's in a parking lot, and I did not sleep very well or very much. And because I'm like kind of freaking out, because I'm like, well, like what the hell's going on with our transmission? And like, did I toast it? Like, what's up? And anyways, so like I wound up like getting up early. I did my, like the Lord was like, do your prayers first. So I'm like, okay. So I did my prayers before I really did anything else. And then I started like researching with Grok, the AI, like what could be wrong. And so I kind of figure out like what are some things that like I can do to maybe remedy this. And then, but I'm not feeling that confident, so I go over to ChatGPT and I kind of bounce the same thing off ChatGPT, and it has a pretty similar take, but not exactly the same. And can you hear the train in the background? It's kind of fun. So, anyways, yeah. So like I basically just spent like a good chunk of the morning just learning like what may have gone wrong, what's going on. And so basically like the AIs think that the transmission might be toast, and it's still possible, but I'm going through some diagnostic steps to see like what's really going on with it. And so I did put transmission fluid into it, and the like sudden like slowdown, like it disappeared. It reappeared like later when we were trying to come back here to the motorhome, or actually a bit earlier than that, but it did disappear for a bit. And so yeah, so it's been like kind of a tumultuous day, because I'm going, okay, well, do we pay somebody to put a new transmission in, like, because it kind of seemed like it was cooked, or like do I try to do a repair myself? Do we just buy another vehicle? Because like if we have someone install a transmission, we're probably going to pay like maybe $800 roughly, maybe a little less, maybe more, for a used transmission off of like eBay or something like that. And then we got a quote from one auto shop. They were saying like $1,900 for the labor, and I'm going, yeah, I mean it's involved, but it's like they were quoting like 15.6 hours to do it, and I'm going like it could probably be done in 6 or 8 hours. So I don't know why they're being like that, but no, that was their quote. And so I'm just kind of freaking out. I'm going, and so like at one point in the day, like my wife and I are like looking at cars, like online, and and I just don't feel good about getting a car at this point. We probably need to use debt to get it, and don't really want to do that. And we just have a good feeling about. I had a good feeling about doing the flush. So, first diagnostic step was like basically top off the transmission fluid and then see how it responded to the transmission, see how it responded to that. And then the second diagnostic step is to flush the tranny, flush the tranny. And so that's what we like kind of felt peace about. So I'm like, well, I don't really want to waste money doing that if we need to get like a new transmission or we need to get a new car, but I figure it's worth like the $100 or what it ended up being, like 111, to get what we need to do the flush of the transmission. So we did that. We hobbled the van down to AutoZone, and we can actually still drive it, but it's tenuous, so it's like a lot of doctoring. And so we picked up 2 gallons of transmission fluid, like an oil pan type thing, and transmission filter and gasket, because it's had a leak for like 2 or 3 years or something, and that I haven't fixed, and I've needed to fix it, and I should have fixed it, but I just didn't get to it. I kept putting transmission fluid into it, and the leak was kind of slow, but it seemed to like kind of speed up the last couple months. And so anyways, so that was like our adventure over the last 24 hours. I got some sleep at various points today. I literally today, when we were like kind of just taking a break, we went to Starbucks, and I was like journaling with God, and I wound up just going outside, and I literally took like 1 or 2 naps just outside sitting on the sidewalk. I was so tired. So anyways, so we'll do that flush and we'll see how it goes. But I just asked, my plan was like, okay, well, let's get some parts, or let's get, what we need to do the flush, and but I didn't know how I was going to do the flush. Like I have a jack, but it doesn't really lift it up that high, and I don't have jack stands. And I'm like, well, we live on dirt. I was looking over at this, like it wasn't a Jiffy Lube, but it was like a Jiffy Lube. And in a Jiffy Lube, they probably have this like pit that the car drives over, and then someone is down there that can work on the vehicle without actually lifting the car up. And I was like, well, why don't I just do that on my land? And I was like, it was just kind of like maybe God moment. And I'm like, oh, I could just dig down, like a trench wide enough for me, and pull the van over it, and then I can work on the van that way, and I can actually get under it. So yeah, so that's the plan for that. So I'm sure I'll get dirty, but welcome to the desert. So it's kind of an adventure a minute on this land. Just one of those things where I'm like, okay, well, next time I see water that looks like that, I will not drive my van into it. I will drive my van away from that, if at all possible.
Yeah, and now we know some other ways to get out of the area.
Yes, that is true too.
Since I am pregnant, and just in case it happens to be raining when we need to get out of here for some reason. Yeah, we can probably, I mean, unless it's like super floody, but we can like get out, even if the certain section where I almost got our van stuck. Yeah. Oh, and like another thing, like when we came back later, when the van was still working like reasonably fine, we come back to the same corner, but like the water is
gone, but it's a mud pit. So we're driving, and it's like you gotta like it's not a perfect 90, but you gotta like take kind of a sharp turn. And I'm not sure if I'm saying this exactly right, but basically like I turn and the van just keeps going straight in the mud, and I'm like, curse word, like,
I would
and like,
help.
I said like help God or something like that, like just kind of squeezed out of me, and managed to just like get through this, like it was a lake, now it's a mud bog, but we still didn't get stuck. Hopefully didn't spin a transmission to just not get stuck. I don't want to not get stuck that bad that I ruin a transmission. But anyways, yeah, that was, oh my gosh, it was fun, and it was very not fun. It's kind of freaky. But yeah, it's a beautiful life out here. One of the things that like I've lived in like many different places. I've lived in Beijing, which has like 26 million people. I've lived next to Seoul. I've lived in Saudi Arabia. When my wife and I got married, and she needed to finish her work contract, we went out to a town called, was it Slagness? We went out to Slagness. That's a town of 50 people. So I lived in some of the biggest cities. I've lived in large cities. I've lived in very, very small, like you can't even call them towns. They're more like blips. Just blip, and you missed it. Yeah, so like I lived in places like that, and so Kingman is like kind of in the middle. It's like 30,000 people, so it's not super huge. It barely has a movie theater that is open Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and like that might not be fun until you learn that the tickets are like $5 or something on Mondays. $5 on Mondays, which is really cheap, and it's a rundown theater. It's horrible. It's great. It's so great. It's fun. It's like this little like clubhouse theater. It's super fun. There is an In-N-Out burger here in Kingman, but we are missing a Winco, so please, Winco, come to Kingman.
Yes, please.
And set up shop on Stockton Hill Road or down the street from us. Either way, I will be elated. Life here is an adventure. It's like almost every time, like because we travel quite a bit for work. We go down to the Valley, Peoria, Glendale, North Scottsdale. It's mostly where we do like our food delivery. But then like recently we discovered Prescott, or Prescott, I think is how the locals say it. Prescott, Arizona, which is at like over 5,000 feet. So it actually stays relatively cool there compared to the Phoenix area that gets into like over 100, which I think if it isn't getting to 100 now, it will be very soon. And it has already hit 100 already. But Kingman's an interesting city. We have access to Flagstaff, access to the Phoenix area, access to the Grand Canyon, access to California. California's only an hour from here. If we wanted to go to like LA or San Diego, that's, I think those one or both are maybe within an 8-hour drive, maybe 6 hours.
5 hours.
Yeah, it's not far. It's not far. So if we wanted to, for some reason, subject ourselves to not quite hell by going to Los Angeles, it's not that bad. actually parts of it are that bad. But anyways, uh, it's an interesting town. Uh, it is expanding. They are building new homes. Seems like the city's growing. Um, uh, Retirees live here. Um, some families, I don't know if it's a lot, um, live here. But it's an interesting area. Like Las Vegas, access to Las Vegas is only like a couple hours away, maybe a couple hours away. St. George, Utah, is like maybe 2.5 or 3 hours away. Because you like from here you go over to get to St. George, Utah. From here to basically Las Vegas, and then you sort of hang a right and then go up into Utah. So a lot of access to a lot of different places. So a cool like kind of traveling, like a cool like home base for traveling, um, and yeah, and so like I'd say we're basically like enjoying it. Like it is going to be getting hot in the summers here, but it'd be like a 10 degrees cooler, more or less, than Phoenix. And then like Prescott would be 10 degrees cooler than that. So if we, like, I bought an air conditioner, and that'll make, like, one of the air conditioners in our motorhome doesn't work, but we do have an air conditioner here, but it takes a lot of power. The one that does work that's installed in the motorhome. And so I'm like, okay, well so I bought a motorhome, I bought an air conditioner that instead of taking like 1500 watts or something in that neighborhood, takes less than 500 watts, like 400, maybe 450 or 60 or whatever it is. So that's gonna save us like a lot of power. And
yeah, we might be able to run the microwave at the same time
yeah.
as the AC.
Yeah. So we are completely off grid. No power hookup, no water hookup. Like, so we use our black tank for the bathroom. We have a freshwater tank that's like 100 gallons. And then even before we bought this motorhome, I started building a 48 volt solar system, off-grid solar system, with an EG4 3000 that has 5,000 PV input, 3,000 AC output, and then we kind of gradually built up our panels. Originally, I had a ridiculous setup on our van, and then I ended up taking off all those panels, putting them on the land. And now we have like over 25 panels, I think, maybe 26 or 27 panels that produce, I think, in the neighborhood of 6,000 watts at peak production, something to that effect. And but that's part of the reason we got this land is like eventually I'm hoping to basically have like an acre or more of solar and solar storage, so that we can Bitcoin mine, and hopefully, because we'll see how long we live here. I'd like to just keep the land probably indefinitely because it's just such good. Oh my goodness, my wife just showed me. What did you get that on? So we're on a social media platform called Nostr, Nostr. So Nostr is a protocol, and then there's different apps that kind of plug into the protocol, but the native currency of Nostr is Bitcoin. So my wife, like, she does this great job. One of her top 5 strengths, according to Strengths Finders, is communication, and she has other like amazing strengths. But she does a really good job writing posts on Nostr. She just got, like, normally, so just to put this in perspective, normally, like, a really good, we call them zaps, because we can send on the social media network, we can send Bitcoin directly to each other, or it kind of goes through middlemen sometimes, but or regularly.
The Lightning Network.
The Lightning, well, there's a Lightning network, but then sometimes it's like a central entity, like Auto Satoshi. But anyways, so like a typical Zap might be 21 sats, 7 sats, 1 sat. You know, like if you're doing really good, like she got like a 500 something sat Zap. So 500 sats right now would be roughly equivalent to 50 cents. And like I got, like, glory to God, I got a couple of 1,000 zaps recently. That'd be about $1 roughly. She just got a 9,900 sat zap. Holy smokes!
Yeah. It was
That's amazing. That's praise Jesus, hallelujah. Yeah, well, we need it. We are in fundraising mode. I'm working, and I'm writing a book. I'm writing a book called How to Build Highly Authentic Relationships. And then we are writing a book, it's mostly her though, called How to Prepare Yourself for Marriage. So that is going to be a hot bestseller when it comes out. I've contributed a chapter to the book on how dating is a sorting game, and it's just a game of probabilities, and so learn how to sort out the people that you don't want and sort in the people that you do want. And like I go into it in much more detail. But that's the game that I played with God, and like a friend of mine turned me on to this revivalist Christian singles group, which is where my wife and I met. And but anyways, so we're both writing books, and I'm working delivery, and she's writing posts on Noster, and we're fundraising because we have this, like, well, for some people $6,000 doesn't sound like much. If we are looking at it all at once, it sounds like a lot. God can take care of it easy, but we're fundraising for that, and so, like, praise God for that amazing Zap. And because it's legit. Who knew that giving birth to kids costs money? I've been like so focused the last few years on building passive income. Like when her and I got married, I'd only published 2 books, but since then I've published 2 more books, and I'm working on this 5th book. And then I have ideas for more books. Yeah, so like, because like for me, writing books has been like a serious hobby until, but it gradually over the last few years I recognized, okay, like food delivery is not ultimately for me, or like teaching at university isn't ultimately for me. Like as much as I love teaching, which I legit love teaching, but the university context can be a little challenging to navigate. And I finally like whittled my way down to like, oh, I'm supposed to write books. Not only am I supposed to write books, but I've like committed to it from my heart. So be prepared for at least a book a year, most likely for the next 1,000 years, because I'm never going to die. Amen, my wife says. Anyways, this video has been like more than long enough, but just wanted to catch you up, friends and family and followers, on how things are going. It's an adventure a minute, but God is good. We are happy.
Yeah.
My during this a bit of an aside, while we're like navigating this gauntlet of mud and water that I told you guys about, I at some point, like, I look over and my wife has the look on her face that says, I love all of this adventure immediately. She loves adventure so much, so she, yeah, I mean, and and so do I. So we're two peas in a pod over here.
And not needing to be the driver in all that mud and water was
Yes.
also very relaxing.
That
I'm
was
like,
not
I can
relaxing
just-
for me.
Yeah, I'm like, he takes all the tension, and he's strong enough to maneuver the car, and I get
Yeah.
to just enjoy the ride. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm like, Christmas morning's got nothing on this.
Yeah, she had a great time and put forth zero effort, like always. I'm just kidding.
No,
That's not true.
I did actually hold the belly in for one
That's
moment.
true.
after
Oh, yeah.
We went on a super bumpy
You
road
are.
that we did not notice.
You don't do anything except for give birth to life.
Yeah.
There is that, and make money, and make my food. Where are my fish sticks?
They're in the microwave.
She likes to be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. I specifically bought a motorhome so that she could be barefoot pregnant in the kitchen, and I could say that on social media and piss off the feminists.
Yeah,
We're not
that's great.
I don't know that you would say we're tradfi, but we are eclectic, and we're not PC.
Yeah, and one day Levi came home with the bacon, so he was doing his part too.
I do occasionally work.
No, I meant like physically. You had bacon.
Oh yeah,
with the
that's right.
bacon
I
and
literally brought home bacon. That's right. Yeah, I bring home the bacon, and I bring home the bacon that is tasty. And it's weird though watching your wife eat dollar bills. Anyways, thanks everybody for joining us, friends, family, followers. Check out our books. Oh, there's the wifey. That's creepy. Don't do that.
The one-
Here it comes. Okay, she's being possessed. I love you. Check out our books at fikatimebooks.com. Fika is spelled F-I-K-A, TIMEBOOKS.com, and there we have almost all our books. I have one like mini book that isn't actually. It might be up on that page. But anyways, check out our books. My wife has written 2 novels. One's called The Blizzard, about a wedding party that goes awry in a blizzard, so it's a bit on the nose. But it's fun and adventurous, like she is. And she has another novel called The Prophetic Detective, and so that is going to be, it looks like a 9-book series. And so like while I'm not, so she's the legit the author, but I am consulting on the psychology of the bad guys. Well, and just like kind of the characters actually.
Characters.
Yeah, the characters, because I'm like, I love like personology, and I'm like super into MTBI and Myers-Briggs and Strengths Finders and like all the psychometric assessments.
And he's
Super
really
fun.
good at it.
Thank
so.
you. Oh, thanks. My wife's kind. And so, and then I have 4 books out as of right now. Benefits of Bitcoin is my latest release, and then prior to that, The Nature of Reality. Prior to that, How to Become Extremely Intelligent, and prior to that, Abundance, Your Path Out of Poverty. And so, super light topics.
And also, Benefits of Bitcoin is currently available in Spanish
Yep.
for Kindle, and
Yep.
it will be available in Swedish shortly.
Yeah.
I'm halfway done translating it.
Yeah. Is it only half? I thought you were beyond halfway.
I'm going halfway.
Yeah.
but
She-
I
You just finished chapter 10, right?
maybe.
Or 9 or 10? Yeah, anyways.
I'm either in chapter 10 or finished chapter 10.
Yeah.
out of
Yeah,
like
you're
15.
definitely around
so
there.
I'm more than halfway.
Yeah, so someone translated it in my book Benefits of Bitcoin into Spanish, and I've heard and anyways, I've heard good things from people who read the book. I wrote it to inspire you. I wrote it to give you hope. I wrote it because like people think of Bitcoin, they go, oh, what's that Bitcoin thing? Or they say it's digital gold or whatever it is. but I actually extrapolate what it will look like over the next maybe 100 years. Um, how Bitcoin is reshaping society inevitably. So this is what is happening and what is going to happen inevitably. No choice about it except to like either opt out or hop on the train. But anyways, yeah. So anyways, check out our books. Super long plug, but that's fine. And anyways, so thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. See you next time.